It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, August 11th. So welcome to the full moon day. We have the moon in Aquarius all day, building towards the peak full moon energy, 9:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this evening. We will be at our full moon energy. This is taking place at 19 degrees. If you have not listened to the full moon in Aquarius astro forecast, I'm going to recommend you do that. If you have not downloaded your moon guide, I'm going to recommend you do that too. This is a huge awakening, a huge epiphany, a huge shake up and wake up in our perspective, in our understanding, in the information coming in the dream and vision that we are currently manifesting. So it's going to be a pretty big deal. In typical full moon fashion, we are going to feel that intensity. We're going to feel a little bit cray-cray. Our emotions are going to be hella dramatic. We are going to feel the wild, wild ride of this moon building. There are 13 different aspects taking place here today. Pretty busy day in the cosmos, and 7 of them involve the moon. The moon in Aquarius will be sextiling a positive energy, a beautiful harmonious energy with Jupiter very early on in the day. Jupiter wants to shine a bright light, wants to magnify where it is that we need to grow, where it is that we need to improve, where it is that we need to shift our belief system into the abundance and blessings that we are all so eagerly awaiting. The moon in Aquarius, really kind of interacting with Jupiter in this way, is showing us where the big picture vision, the big picture dream is possible. Now, the key here in a full moon energy is to grasp that vision and dream, to grasp that excitement, that happiness, that joy that that vision brings, and to try so freaking hardly to not allow the fear and the doubts and the insecurities to absolutely ruin it. Reason why I bring this up is because the moon in Aquarius semi-squares Neptune. This means that the short-lived vision, excitement of the dream is very short-lived because now we're not as in touch with our intuition as we would like. Why? Because we're getting overwhelmed with the thoughts, with the feelings that we are kind of exploring that would be required of us to make the change and transformation that, of course, we have to make in order to get a different result in our life. Now, again, full moon energy, super intense. Neptune, when aspected in a negative aspect, tends to overwhelm us to the point, because again, we're super hypersensitive in this energy, pushes us to the point where we just want to check out. We want to run. We want to disassociate with life. We want to numb ourselves. We want to bury our head in the sand. We don't want to deal with life right now. That is a whole intense vibe that will be coming at us, that will be multiplied when the sun gets in the boxing ring with Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. He shocks us. He disrupts us. He throws a monkey wrench into our plans in order for us to see where it is that we've been building on false, shaky, weak foundations, in order for us to see where there's a new path available for us. Now, Uranus rules over this full moon in Aquarius. So this is a pretty intense aspect, because the sun in Leo, of course, we need the sun to be in Leo in order to get our full moon in Aquarius. The sun in Leo is shining a bright light on where it is that we need to boss up, where we need to be bold and brave and courageous, to follow our heart, to follow our soul, to do what makes us happy, to bring joy and pleasure and creative vibes back into our lives. This is a time for us to really feel empowered and proud of ourselves for all that we've gone through. But we get in this boxing ring with Uranus over here, and Uranus just likes to shake us up. He likes to create a lot of anxiety, a lot of insecurity, a lot of chaos in our mental plane and in our heart space. Why? Because we need to break down to prepare for a breakthrough. This whole full moon in Aquarius is a breakthrough. We are going to be gaining insight and information through this full moon cycle that is totally going to change the game for us. Not only change the game for our future plans, but change the game as far as the understanding that we have on how past events needed to happen in order to land us in the here and now. The moon goes ahead, bumps into Mercury in not the nicest way, in a way that would suggest that there's information coming in from the outside realm. Mercury is in its place of power in Virgo, mind over matter. Okay. Mercury, the ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves in this Virgo energy can be highly critical, highly judgmental of oneself. We are doing a deep dive into our issues so that we can come up with a solution to our problems. This is what the Virgo energy does. It's what it's perfect at, is providing solution to the problems. But the moon, being our heart space, Mercury, being our head space, in this little kerfuffle tells me that our heart and our head are not on the same page. The heart aspect, where the moon is in Aquarius, is focused on the big picture, the futuristic vision, on what it is that we want to be doing with our lives. While Mercury is saying, you know what? You can't think that far ahead. You got to deal with the nitty-gritty details of the here and now. You got to break that big vision down into manageable pieces in order for us to ever stand a chance in hell of us getting there. And therefore, the way that these two are interacting, not only is this going to be an internalized battle between our heart and our head, but there is likely a situation popping off where information's coming in, we hear something different, we're challenged in our perspectives, in our beliefs, in our understanding, that's really going to rock us and make us have to reprocess certain thoughts, emotions, situations from a different perspective to actually arise at a different understanding where we can provide a solution to some of the problems that have been going on in our unconscious selves. We have Venus, who is about to move into Leo, but not just yet. We have to wrap up the final degrees in Cancer first. We have Venus still in Cancer, making a beautiful aspect with the true node. This is super helpful because many of us have spent the whole Venus and Cancer transit just beside ourselves, just sad, just sentimental, just nostalgic, just overly attached to the old that we know that we got to let go of if we stand a chance of inviting anything new in. We've been dealing with our unworthiness, our unlovability, our lack of confidence, our lack of self-esteem. We've been dealing with all that. And now that we are moving out of this Cancer energy, you best believe that we have learned a thing or two. And we are seeing what we've learned by this aspect with the true node. The true node is our soul's path. It's our destiny point, the path that we need to be on to reach our soul's mission and purpose. Venus in Cancer has finally realized where she needs to boss up, where she needs to see the worth in herself, the value in herself, the worth and value in her personal relationships, who it is that she chooses to keep in her inner circle, how it is that she goes ahead and shares her energy, taking care of other people, nurturing herself, but realizing that she has to take care and nurture herself too. This has been a huge lesson in boundaries, where it is that we haven't felt safe, haven't felt secure, haven't felt stable, not only in our emotions, not only in our thoughts, but in our physical lives because of some of the relationships that we are holding onto too greatly, when we should be working on cutting the cord and releasing them altogether. This particular interaction would suggest that we finally come to a certain realization of what it is that we need to do, what it is that we want, what it is we need, what it is that we desire, and we are prepared now to stop looking back and instead look forward. The sun is going to interact with Neptune in the most beautiful of ways. This is a new dream. This is a new insight. This is new intuition coming to light. This is a healing energy by recognizing where it is that we have done ourselves a disservice in the past by playing small, where it is that we do have to step into the spotlight, where we do have to amp up our willpower, our determination, our life force energy to start following our heart and soul instead of our ego. Okay? We've gotten in some funky situations that we have no business being in because we allowed our ego to lead. And right now, because the sun is in its place of power in Leo, we're having to get to the heart and soul of what it is that makes us happy, what it is that makes us feel meaningful, purposeful, what it is that actually makes us feel proud of ourselves. And with this blending of energies with Neptune, who is the soul healer, right? We're healing our soul self, our unconscious self, our intuitive self. You best believe that there's new insights coming in from our higher selves on how it is that we are going to boss up, be bold, be brave, be courageous enough to actually move forward. This is a new inspiration. This is a renewal in self, in pride, in trust, in the love that we have to have for ourselves first and foremost. This is a beautiful vibe. But like I said, just as we take one step forward and we're feeling good and high vibe and positive, those dark force energies kick in to try and bring us back. We have Mercury interacting with Pluto, okay? In not the nicest way. This is where the fears come in. This is where the doubts come in. This is where the obsessive thinking comes in. This is when we start reflecting back on our past of all the pain and trauma and suffering that we've endured. And instead of using that as inspiration and as a catalyst to motivate us to get our ass in gear to make sure that we never repeat past patterns and behaviors, we like to sit up, camp, and feel bad about ourselves for just a second. Now, it better be just a second. We do not have the time, especially here today, to sit in any kind of funk for any kind of length of time. I'm not saying avoid the bad emotions. It's a full moon. We have to illuminate to the bad thoughts, bad emotion, bad memories, bad experiences, but we do not set up camp there. We visit, we take in all the information, we see things from a different perspective, and then we make a conscious decision that we're not going to live there anymore. And that we will do whatever we have to do, starting with our mental plane, starting with our understanding, our perspective, our mental narrative. We will do what we have to do to change and transform our mental narrative to orient to what is possible instead of what has already happened. Why? Because when we reflect on what has already happened, it puts us in a state of paralysis in the here and now, where we prevent ourselves from thinking about what is actually possible in the future. 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Venus moves into Leo energy. Thank goodness. If you have not listened to the astro forecast that I put out for this particular event, I'm going to recommend you do that. This is a beautiful setup, a beautiful energy, encouraging us, promoting happiness, pride, all kinds of curiosity, good vibes. We want to have fun again. And this is a beautiful setup taking place just hours before our full moon in Aquarius. So that's why it's important that you go ahead. I would say go back, listen to the intro for August's energy forecast, listen to what Mercury being in Virgo is doing for us, because Mercury is super important under this full moon. Listen to the Lionsgate portal that we just went through that we're still quite very much in as far as vibrations and frequencies go. Listen to what Venus moving into Leo is setting us up for, because this all pieces together on the magic, on the opportunity, on the intensity, on the vibrations, on the frequency that we are feeling when the full moon in Aquarius peaks. So the moon is going to go ahead and sextile Chiron. This is freaking beautiful. Why? Because we're looking at our pain, we're looking at our trauma, we're looking at our past experiences, we're looking at our present problems from all sides. This Aquarian energy allows us to detach emotionally just a tad so that we can mentally process from a bird's eye view. We can see our wounds from a different set of eyes. We can see our problems as an outsider, as an observer, instead of being so stuck in it that we can't see past it. And in doing so, again, full moon key word here, epiphanies, awakening, aha moments. The minute that we can shift our perspective is the minute that we can shift our emotions, is the minute that we can get in alignment, is the minute that we can engage with the physical circumstances of our reality and actually make a change. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing. This is improvement. This is learning. This is growth. This is healing. This is a beautiful setup. Now, Mars is going to go ahead and sextile with Neptune. This is a beautiful aspect. Why? Because Mars is the god of war. He's in Taurus energy, unearthing the very foundation of our worth, of our value, of our self-confidence, of our self-esteem. He's recognizing what needs to be built, what needs to be birthed, what needs to be created in life. And sextiling is blending the energies with Neptune, who is retrograde in its place of power in Pisces, which is our soul self, our intuition, our higher self, our dreams, our creativity, our healing, our transformation on the highest levels of vibrations and frequencies. This essentially is our spiritual warrior. We blend the aggressiveness of Mars, the warrior the spirit warrior of our ego realm that helps us take action and assert ourselves in our physical realm to go after what it is that we want, need, and desire, with Neptune, the spiritual warrior that gives us the tough love life lessons, our karmic contracts, in order to empower us, to get us to our highest soul potential. This is a beautiful thing, because not only are we realizing new passions, new dreams, new insight, new clarity, we are inspired and motivated, hell-bent and determined, again, Mars energy, to do what we have to do in order to build the foundation, the structure, the routine in our life that essentially is going to give us the stability that we need to get from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. We have the moon squaring the true node, squaring Uranus, the ruler over the Aquarian energy. Now, in the moon guide, you'll be able to see all these different aspects and what that actually means for you as far as shadow work goes. Collectively speaking, we are getting in the boxing ring with the soul's destiny point, the true node, and the Great Awakener. Why? Because we need to be confused about the next step in our path. We need to feel a little bit of chaos in our mental plane. We need to feel that anxiety. We need to feel pressurized. We need to feel like we're about to break down because the breakthrough is coming. We need to feel the confusion because the clarity is coming. This full moon is a full illumination of some aha moments, making the connection not only from our past, but to our future. This whole topic and theme, again, listen to the astro forecast that I put out for the full moon in Aquarius. The whole theme of this is back to the future. We got to look back in order to get to the future. There's some very, very important information, some aha moments, some connections that we have to make in the past in order for us to see clearly the path towards our future. At 9:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon opposes, sits across from, gets in a confrontation with the sun in Leo. This is what gives us our full moon energy. The moon is our heart, our soul, our memories, our unconscious self, our intuition. The sun is our ego, our life force energy, what needs to be shone upon, what qualities and characteristics we need to embody. Again, the full moon astro forecast will go into depth on what this particular energy is activating in us. But basically, we have to take responsibility and accountability for our own happiness. We have to stop doing what we think other people want us to do in order for us to actually be happy. We have to get to the heart and soul of who it is that we are, what makes us us, why we're amazing, why we're beautiful, why we have to stop playing small, why we have to stop giving our power away to other people. When you realize that the happiness is an inside job, when you realize that when you vibrate at a frequency of love, of pleasure, of joy, of gratitude, that is how you help the rest of the world. You do not help the collective by doing what you think other people want you to do and hold guilt and resentment and anger and frustration within yourself because you are doing yourself a disservice by putting your own wants, needs, and desires on the back burner. This is a huge epiphany, a huge awakening, a huge shift in energies. Not only are you going to see the transformation take place in your own individual life, because again, we're still in the Lionsgate portal where we are, essentially choosing one choice point, decision, timeline, path over the other, but you will see the shift collectively. The Aquarian energy is the conscious collective. And Lord Jesus knows we've just got illuminated to a new level of awareness, a new level of awakening, a new level of enlightenment. But we have to do the work. We have to do the shadow work. We have to connect the dots. So again, if you have not downloaded your moon guide, I'm going to recommend you do so. They are constructed and divinely written for your growth, for your improvement, for your best potential in self. So happy full moon, embody the chaos, embrace the craziness, challenge yourself to really sit in the present moment of this breakdown so that you can have more of an attitude of gratitude when the breakthrough comes.